Recently, I've been trying to brainstorm different videos to make for my channel, and today's video is by no means a new video idea, but I wanted to talk about some K-pop groups that I find are underrated. There are a couple groups that come to mind when I think of underrated K-pop groups, and this is in no particular order, but the first group I'm going to be mentioning is Kanaka. They are a group that debuted back in March of 2016 with a single called Knock. I first heard of this group maybe a year and a half ago when I was watching old episodes of Weekly Idol, and the episode that I was watching is from back in 2016 when they were on the show with Astro and 410. Honestly, I wasn't looking for another group to get into, so I never ended up looking them up afterwards, but I found them really entertaining and they seemed like a really fun group. But I don't know, it's you don't really hear their name very often. I think that it really affected the group when in 2018 they lost a member due to mental health issues. He ended up stepping down from the group, but the rest of the members decided to move on. And when I was looking at their discography earlier today, it doesn't seem like they've been very active since the departure of one of their members in 2018. They have had a couple releases since then, but it was two singles back in 2019, and they did receive an award for Best Group last year, but so far they haven't been active in 2020, and I'm not sure they have any plans for any releases this year. The next group that I wanted to mention is Astro. I know they are relatively mainstream, but I think that when people think of Astro, they think of Cha Eun-woo. Most people know him through his acting endeavors and his good looks, and I'm not discrediting his hard work, but he honestly does overshadow the other members. As a group, Astros release quite a few bops and are pretty synchronized in their dance, but I think the group as a whole is underrated. Moving on to our first girl group, Very Good. They debuted a little while before G-Friend did, but their concepts were basically the same as G-Friend's concepts, and that would be that really sweet, innocent image, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that at that time period, there was a lot of girl groups that were using that same concept, so it took a lot to stand out. There's a couple reasons why I think that they weren't as successful as they could have been. The first being that throughout the years they have gone through quite a few lineup changes, and as a fan, I would find it pretty frustrating if the company of a group that I am a fan of is constantly changing the lineup, especially if the original members that drew me into the group are no longer in the group anymore. And secondly, I think that their comebacks were poorly timed. Their comebacks were scheduled really close to the comebacks of bigger, more popular groups, so they got overshadowed by those other groups. I admit I don't listen to Very Good. The only song of theirs that I listened to was Angel, but I think that a lot of fans may have been put off by all the lineup changes and they were covered up by bigger groups. The next group that I wanted to mention is The Rose. They're a 4-member band that debuted back in 2017, and I've only heard of them in passing, but I've heard that they write their own songs and they've done quite a few covers of other songs. When it comes to K-pop, you think of the traditional pop music and elaborate dances, but The Rose is an actual band, like with the drums and whatnot. So they don't fit in that mainstream K-pop boy band image. But I think that they have really amazing voices. And when I was reading up on them recently, as in February of this year, they filed a lawsuit against their company to terminate their exclusivity contracts, citing that their company's enforcement of really unreasonable schedules and having problems with payment, as in they haven't been paid in the 3 years they've been active. I don't know how true all of this is because of one, I don't know anything about this band, so who am I to be commenting on this? And two, with how recent this lawsuit is, there hasn't been much time for investigation, so only with time will we find out what the truth is. And of course, what is an underrated K-pop group video without mentioning Pristin? Yes, I know several of the members have re-debuted under Hinapia, but Pledis did Pristin dirty. If y'all don't know who Pristin is, they're a girl group that debuted back in 2016. They have several members who participated in Produce 101 Season 1, and Pristin's debut was pretty well received. I loved their songs Wee Woo and We Are Pristin. But shortly after they debuted, they disappeared. They did do some shows and whatnot, but musically they disappeared for like 2 years until 2018 summer when the subunit Pristin V was introduced. I was super obsessed with the comeback, but I was hoping for a full group comeback, but it didn't seem like we were getting that for a long while. After their promotions for Pristin V, they disappeared for another while, which turned into over a year until Pledis decided to announce the disbandment of Pristin. While I wasn't necessarily a Pristin stan, I was a fan of quite a few of their songs, and I was a little upset to hear that they were disbanding because I felt like they had a lot of potential to do well and their music was well received. But for reasons unknown to me, Pristin got disbanded. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, and I will see you guys soon with another video.